Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. We are back from the California Pen Show. We survived a 2-day little snowstorm here in the Pacific Northwest and just getting settled and back into routine. So we're going to talk about nibs. I am going to say a disclaimer. I am not an expert. I am not reviewing nibs. I am going to share the 7 fun nibs that I have. So beyond the extra fine, medium, broad, double broad, stub, 1.4, etc., I discovered as I was kind of doing inventory, I have 7 fun, what I call them fun, either custom grinds or unique nibs. These are just fun to me, and so I wanted to share just how they write and the pens that I have them in, and just do a little bit of yapping about nibs. So I'm going to go in order of when I have owned these. So this is a Sailor dip pen, and it is a Fude nib, which, if you can see, it is an upturned nib. This is one that is used, I think, a lot of maybe artists, calligraphy, etc. This is not one that I use very often. Sometimes in my ink journals, I'll play around with like writing it. I don't even know. It's always kind of a guess of how it's going to work, or I should say how I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to start with this one. It's not the most exciting as far as pens go, but it was my first kind of unique nib in a fountain pen. I'm going to dip it in this diamine collaboration with Dromgools in Medusa's Gaze. We picked this up at the California Pen Show, and I have not inked any pens with it yet. I've just done a ink swatching. So if we go it's not a super thick line there, a little bit thinner on the downstroke. And when I write with this, I kind of hold my hand pretty loose, and it almost gives it just kind of a little bit of a messy, I don't think, well, let's see. It does okay if I kind of try to do cursive-y. I guess I made that up. So this is just a Fude dip pen. I have not felt confident to purchase that nib in an actual pen yet, only because I don't think I would use it very often. All right, so let's move on to the actual pens. So this was the first custom grind that I had done at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show last summer. This is a TWSBI 580 AL. Before the custom grind, I rarely used this pen just because it was kind of boring, and I had other pens that I liked to play with. Once I got Kirk Spear from Penrel to grind me a cursive smooth italic, this is one of my daily writers. I love this pen. The ink I have in it is Pilot. Oh, I guess I should do some lines. I'll do some lines for you. So cursive smooth italic, we're going to be thinner on the horizontal and a little thicker on the vertical. And the cursive smooth italic, my understanding, it's the italic with a little slightly rounded edges, so it's a little bit smoother. I have Pilot Era Shizuku. Let's see, this is Yama Guri. And this is a daily writer. I love this pen, and I don't even really have an exciting ink in it. I mean, for me, I'm normally, I like sparkly, I like, or shimmery, and I like shading. This one is just such a solid classic ink, and it handles really well in this pen, and I absolutely love this nib. It's great for journaling. It's great in all of my journals, my plotters, my Hobonichi, my bullet journal. All of the paper really like this nib. So, and it is very smooth. Okay, moving on. So my next fun nib came in my Estabrook SD Back to the Land Corky Leaf, where I was able to get a journaler nib. I don't know if you can see the GS there. Those are her initials. So the journaler nib, if I'm understanding correctly, it starts out as a medium stub, and then it's ground to kind of a smoother, I think what they say on the website is it's to give your journaling a little bit of flair. So it's not anything real significant as far as, when you're just doing your writing. Just gives it a little bit of something, and I love the way it feels. So a little thinner on the horizontal, a little thicker on the down. It's a very smooth writer. What's exciting is we were not able to get an appointment with Gina at the California Pen Show. So when we got home, I remembered she is actually going to be in Portland this coming Saturday. So I set an alarm on my phone because her appointments get snatched up. I got on to Oblation's website and I was able to snag an appointment for Saturday. So we're going to go take a couple pens down there to get ground. I'm not sure what we're going to get yet, but it'll be fantastic no matter what. Okay, the next fun nib I have is in my Estabrook Funky Lake. I got the Fine Flex. There weren't a lot of options left by the time I ordered this, and I don't usually go for fine nibs, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to just take a chance here and go for a Fine Flex. So you can see Flex nibs have the little cutouts there, and that helps make the nib a little bouncier. So thinner on the horizontal, and where it really shines is kind of when you're writing in cursive. You can see that flex. And this doesn't have, it's not a super flexy pen. I don't know if it'll become more flexy over time, but it's a nice writer, and I do not mind that it is a fine. I wonder if the medium maybe would have a little more flex to it. Let's see, the ink I have in here, this is another, Ira Shizuku ink. It is okay. The next pen I have a fun nib in is this beauty. This is the Estabrook SD Blue Moon, and this was just recently re-released, so I snagged one. If you saw my Jurassic SD video, you know that I missed out on getting a super cute dinosaur nib from Pen Realm. Well, this time I learned my lesson and I was able to get a Blue Moon nib from Kirkspear. How cute is that? And I got this in the most unique one that I have so far. This is a scythe nib. Okay, so I took a chance on this because I was like, I don't know what a scythe nib is. I Googled it, didn't really get a lot of clarity, so I just went for it. I figure, Estabrook nibs you can swap out, so if I didn't like it, I would get a different one. Now, this kind of changes depending on my angle, but look at that line variation. So essentially it's kind of like a curved architect. So let's see, scythe. So it's like an architect nib where it's thicker. And if I go up a little, it's a little bit thinner. So there is a sweet spot. And what I have found, so if you write with different nibs, I don't know, you'll have to tell me in the comments if you do the same thing. Depending on the nib, I write differently. So with this one, let's see, what ink do I have in here? Oh, I have a mix. So I will write the inks how I write with this pen, and you'll be, if you've seen my handwriting before, you'll be like, you never write like that. Okay, so it's one more sleep, forgot the more, and Arctic Blast. And that just wasn't dark enough with these two, and so I put a little bit of Early Dusk. And these are all diamine. So the writing style with this, it jives for me with printing and all caps. Why did I put in it? You guys, I must be tired. I am just messing up the spelling tonight. Anyway, so this one, I just really like to print in all caps. And I don't write like that at all, but for some reason, this just brings me to want to write in all caps. So I'm in love with this pen. I'm so glad that I picked up the re-release. It's such a pretty pen. I'm finding that my SD collection is really growing, and it might just be one of my favorites right now. Okay, two more. No, yes, two more. Okay, this one I picked up at the pen show. This is a Monteverde, and I have this in an Omniflex. So the Omniflex is a very flexy nib. The one that I used at the pen show to try it out was a lot bouncier. This one just might be because it's not used very much, but if you see, you can see the cutouts there. And oh, it's not gonna go. All right, we're back. So this is pretty fine, but it has this really nice bounce to it. So these flexi nibs make me want to write in cursive. It just seems really nice. I have, what do I have in here? Blue. A little bit of a hard start just because if you have ever used Blue Lightning, it has got some significant shimmer in there. And that little Omniflex nib, I'm finding gets a little bit stuck, so I had to push some ink through. I mean, you can just see, look at all that shimmer in the feed. Not sure if I will keep this ink in here just because of that, but I mean, look at it matches so beautifully. All right, the last nib that I want to share, this is probably one that won't be an often writer because it's so unique, but my husband got this last year, and I found this at the California Pen Show, so I grabbed it. This is a Taccia with a music nib, and it has taken me a little bit of time to get used to it. So it's super thin. Oh my gosh, I'm not even on camera, sorry. Super thin on the horizontal, and then nice and thick on that vertical. I forgot to say, this model of pen is called the Pinnacle. And my husband got it last year in San Francisco. I didn't pick one up because they have a blue one that I actually liked better, but it is sold out worldwide. And so I just, at the California Pen Show last week, I just knew I was going to have to grab it or I just wouldn't get one. I have this inked with Dominant Industry Periwinkle Twinkle. And this also is kind of one I like to write all caps. I could do a little bit of cursive. I don't think it's as pretty as some of the other ones in cursive, but it's a fun nib. It's just really chunky, and again, it kind of will do a little differently when I hold the nib in certain ways. So anyway, those are my fun nibs. I'm going to hold this up so I can show you just a little bit closer the differences. So there was the Fude dip pen. There was the cursive smooth italic. There was the journaler. There was the fine flex. The scythe nib. The Omniflex, and the music nib. What do you think? Besides me misspelling and leaving words off, oh, it's been a week. I might get another journaler this weekend, I'm not sure, or I might try an oblique nib. I'll report back. I'm not really sure about the oblique nib and what it does, but I did read somewhere that there is, I don't know if it's the right oblique or the left oblique, it would make sense if it's the left, that lefties like. And actually I think it's the right oblique because then you turn your pen to the right. Anyway, I'm just blabbing now. I will report back with what I end up getting. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'm not an expert. These are just the fun nibs that I have that I just wanted to throw out there and show you some examples. And clearly a mess of a page. So I hope you got something out of that. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and I will see you in the next video.